Okay, Elmo was the one. He told me, he said, I've only got $100. That's all the money I have. We need to wait. We can get married, but we need to wait to tell it until we make a crop. So the couple across the road from Mother and Daddy were renting a farm, and they had an old rattle trap car. And Elmo said, and they said, we'll take y'all. It was Frank and Dorothy Whitaker. And I got my best girlfriend from Plainview that she had moved over there to come over. And we didn't tell Mr. and Miss Bryant, we didn't tell Mother and Dad, we didn't tell anybody but those three. That's all. So they took us, and we laughed all the way to Clovis, because you could buy your license and get married. So we laughed all the way over there, and Dorothy, Doc, we called her Doc Whitaker. Doc said, now y'all are going to come back here, because you can't tell this. You can't go to a motel. Well, Elmo didn't have enough money to go anyway. So, and I had a brand new blue dress. I didn't have a white one, with the cutest lace collar. That's what I wore. So my girlfriend said, that's good. That's a good thing. So anyway, he had Lil Ross bring him, and I don't know, Lil Ross was a little suspicious, to bring him to the Whitaker house, and he got out there, and we met at their house, and they put us in that old rattle trap car. And Frank was a funny man anyway, and we laughed all the way over there. Well, Elmo and Frank sat in the front, and we girls in the back. So we went, and he got our license. Then the man said, well, who do you want to marry? And I said, well, the Church of Christ preacher. Where do they live? He said, oh, that's Glen Parks. I said, yeah, I'll call him right now, and I'll tell him what you want. And so he called him, and he told him, I said, yes, send them right on over. So we went to their house, and he and his wife were the sweetest, cutest things, and that's when we got married. And then we rattle-trapped on back home to their house, and you know what they did? They threw a mattress down in the living room floor for us. And they laughed their hell. Well, Daddy and Mother, see, I never missed church. So I had told Daddy and Mother that I might be going home with Margie at Plainview. I didn't know. And that's true, but I didn't. She stayed all night, too, over there. We got back, and the next morning, Daddy, I wasn't at home, so they was worried. That's the only thing I hated about it, because, I didn't like doing my parents that way. So, anyway, Dot saw Daddy coming down the road. She said, oh, y'all get up out of this bed and get your clothes on, get in that room in there. So we did. And she said, now, I'll stop. She called him Mr. T. His name was Terrell. And she said, I'll stop Mr. T at the door, and I'll tell him that you're not here, that you went to Margie's house. She lied about it, so she did. And he didn't say a word. He just went back, and they went on to church. Well, that evening, I went on home, and Elmo went home. So Dorothy said, what are we going to say to your Mother and Daddy when you show up and they're at church and they come home? I said, I don't know how to do this, because I hate keeping things, but I've got to. Because Elmo said, we don't have any money, and we got to do this. So she said, let's crawl under the bed and see what. Mother had a bed in the kitchen. And we did, and we got a tickle and sniggering and laughing, and we had to come out, and we never did tell them, though. They just wanted to know how crazy what we was doing. And so they never asked a lot of questions or anything. And so Elmo would come to see me on the weekend, just like he always did on Saturday night. We go to the movie in Plainview like we always did. But it lasted about 2 weeks. And then one lady, her husband had died. Grace Rucker, Hughes died. And she marries a Mr. Graff that would live in Oldton. He was kin to Miss Doherty. And Mr. Graff lived in Clovis. She went over and lived with him. And they married each other. Well, of course, that little bitty thing came out where we bought our license in the Clovis paper. And guess what? She saw it. Of course, she knew us. She cuts it out. And the third weekend, she comes over and she stands in. Elmo always stopped at the a drugstore and bought him some cigarettes, and he smoked them. When he walked in, she was sitting in there. Well, she walks up to him. She said, Elmo, come back here. I want to show you something. He told me that. And she got out this little bitty thing about where we bought our license. And he literally dropped his teeth out of his mouth, and it tickled her to death. She thought that was the funniest thing. So he come down there and he said, guess what? I've got something to tell you. We got to tell this. I said, what? And he told me. So we had to. One, I think, is about a month, maybe.
Were your parents happy for
One
you?
day long.
They knew, didn't
Had
they?
to tell it. Oh, me. Then I had to go out there and stay. And I wanted just to live with Mother and Daddy because it'd be better. We had, more room. Well, Jolene had to give her bedroom up for us, and she never has let me live that down. Well, Mr. Bryant and them had to give theirs up for Red and Little Ross, and that was okay. But anyway, I said, well, I told him, well, I don't know what to do. I need to be helping Mother and Daddy, and you could use our car and drive back and forth out there. But we decided he had to have the tractor. He was borrowing all their equipment to farm all this land we'd had rented. And from them, and of course they let him, but until we could buy a tractor. And we farmed a lot of land, but we lived back and forth with it. But Mother and Daddy fixed us a bed upstairs, and they had a bed upstairs. Wasn't anybody home but me. And the windows opened to one on the north, had a north window, and one on the south. Well, Elmo loved to tease like all the boys. He was wearing socks, and at night, of course, he had to take a bath at our house. Well, he didn't have to. Mr. Bryant had to shower out of the well house. But anyway, he'd usually come down there and take a bath. And he took a bath, but for some reason, he pulled his socks off, and he laid them upstairs, and they smelled. Because his feet, they'll smell. And so he fit them where the wind was blowing out of the south, where it'd blow into where Mother and Daddy's was, where they could smell. And Mother said, I tell you, Elmo, those socks stunk. And he got so tickled. She said, I want you to buy you some white socks so your feet won't stink. So he did. He probably wouldn't remember that, but I sure do. But that's the kind of people. And before we married, one day I'd gone to town, and I come home, and he was sitting in the kitchen in a cane-bottom chair talking to Mother. And I thought, what's he doing in here? They never did tell me. I never did know. So I just walked over and sat down in his lap and hugged him right in front of Mother. That's the first time she'd ever seen that. But anyway, so they had been talking about me, so. Oh.